legitimate concern. How will we ensure that the benefit of this is actually going to go down to the consumers and will be passed on from the companies? Who keeps that additional bit that they are going to save in GST? That's the one question everyone wants to know, Mr. Patel.
Actually, there is no such mechanism in India. That is, we are unfortunate to have this because no one can track these things unless and until company is deliberately showing that this was the earlier price. Now we are reducing because of this is the effect. So I will say social media influencer can make a big difference into this.
So that's very interesting what you are telling us. But Mr. P.K. Basu is now joining us. Is it true that should we be as optimistic as thinking up ki bar is going to be for the middle class? Because what seems to be coming out from these meetings is that small cars, motorcycles, that's likely to come down to 18%. Hotel stays, as we were just discussing, movie tickets, likely to come down by 5%. Will this, especially since it's ahead of the Navratras, ahead of the Diwali, actually boost domestic consumption, especially when it comes to the middle class, Mr. Basu?
Absolutely, it will. There's been a lot of steps this year to boost private consumption. We've seen a big reduction in personal income tax rates for all taxpayers. We've seen a 100 basis point cut in interest rates and more to come. Plus the CRR will be cut by 25 basis points each month starting this month. So substantial improvement in the liquidity situation, a very substantial reduction in tax rates, and now the simplification of the GST. I think the important thing about the GST is that it is a major reform. We should not think about it as a cyclical measure.
Okay.
Yes, the one-time reduction in rates will provide a significant boost to consumption. But the more important thing is that we are moving from an unnecessarily complex system with 5 different rates and many exemptions to just 2 important rates, plus the unfortunate so-called sin rate. Now, I personally think that the sin rate is not required. You should not have 3 rates. It's better to have just 2.
Okay.
If you want to have sin taxes, don't call them GST. You have a sin tax on cigarettes and so on, but it's not a GST. That's a separate tax. You can have a sin tax. But when it comes to GST, it's better to have a single rate. The second best is to have 2 rates. But why?
Can you explain that to us, Mr. P.K. Basu? Why are you saying that the sin tax should not have been brought in?
Well, basically, the simple thing is a goods and services tax or a value-added tax is, the main purpose of it is to eliminate the incentive or the ability to evade paying tax. It becomes very difficult to evade because everybody is paying the same rate, and there are 2 sides to every transaction. Both sides need to collude if they're going to evade paying the tax. So, in effect, it removes the likelihood of any sort of tax evasion, and it makes it simple for people to understand what the tax is. Everybody pays the same rate, and that is what the whole point of a GST is. Now, when we started in India, unfortunately, we started with 5 rates, and there were many exemptions even to those 5 rates. So while it was a big improvement on what came before, we had octroys, sales taxes at the state level, etc. All that's gone. So we've moved to an improved system for sure, but we haven't moved to the best system. The best system all over the world, wherever there is a VAT or GST, is to have a single rate. We are improving that by moving to 2 rates.
Okay.
Adding a 3rd rate is not a good idea at all.
Okay. So, but I'll come back to you, Mr. P.K. Basu, on the point that I was raising earlier. What about the estimated revenue loss? Now, if there's going to be a loss of 50,000 crore rupees, people are asking, especially when it comes to the state finance ministers, have red flagged that time and again, who bears the brunt for it? Will there be compensation given to the state? Should there be compensation given to the state by the center? What happens there? Who bears this brunt?
Well, the simple fact is that the brunt is borne by everybody. And the states have moved a bit slower in improving their finances. The central government's finances have steadily improved. The fiscal deficit at the center is continuing to decline. The states, particularly the states that are relatively poorly run on a fiscal standpoint, need to get their house in order. So, yes, there'll probably be slightly enhanced compensation to the states, but you cannot just depend on GST continuing to rise over time and providing you the basis for running your state governments. State governments need to tighten their ship, run a tighter fiscal ship, and improve their own positions. Now, with regard to the GST, I think that revenue loss at the center is going to be fairly modest. Now, this year, we've seen that income tax revenue is slowing down relative to the last 3 or 4 years. Every year, it had been growing 20-30%. This year, there is actually a slight decline in income tax revenue so far this year. But corporate tax revenue is recovering. Customs revenue is doing okay. So I think the central government's fiscal position is sound, and therefore, this is a good time to bring about this reform. The important thing to know about it is that it's a long-term step. The fact that this year there'll be a boost to private consumption is a nice benefit. But the simple point is that we are moving from 5 rates to 2 rates. That is a big positive. If there is a third rate, so-called sin rate, I think it reduces the whole benefit of the reform. It's an improvement, but it could be
so if you want to simplify, don't add more layers and complicate things essentially. But here's an interesting one, and we must talk about this, Drupad Patel, because this is the most exciting part. For all the people who have health insurance, who have life insurance, that is what may just be exempt, as well as cancer drugs or any life-saving essential drugs. And that's going to be one of the biggest key points, isn't it? One big takeaway, because many people have been wondering, why was it there in the first place?
Okay, so earlier also, if you remember, there was no tax on insurance, but this company, this government has imposed this tax.
Yes.
But now they realize that this is a wrong tax. You cannot charge for this insurance, mediclaim. This is actually helping to the middle class people. And I think Nirmala ji now realized that this was the mistake, and they are now coming back from that mistake. So that is a great step, I will say.
On the premium that we pay on it is going to see no GST. Just to point that out. Go ahead.
So there will be a no GST now onwards. Okay. And even while filing an income tax return, only a base premium was allowed, not a GST was allowed. So this is also a good step. Now there is no premium, and this is going to boost our insurance industry. We personally believe that everyone should have insurance, and this will help all the people of India for having
filing the returns are likely to get easier for this, will it? Mr. Drupad Patel, what's the long-term impact that we hope to see from this?
There is a huge impact. Being a chartered accountant, I can relate most of the things in this, because while filing a GST returns, it is taking a lot of time during finding this tax rate, that tax rate. Now it is very easy to manage only 3 tax rates. It's very easy to remember, easy to do reconciliation. There will be a reconciliation between 5%, 12%, 28%, 18%. Now this is only 3 rates are there. So this is going to save a lot of time of normal people. In fact, till now, normal people cannot file the GST return themselves, but they have to reach out to CA. But I think now onwards, they can file this GST return themselves. This is a great move. Okay,
that's a big thing. So you can online file this. Earlier too, you had the option to file it yourself. However, it's usually so very complicated that the common man simply does not have it. Which is why we, of course, have specialists like Drupad Patel who can help us with it. Drupad, don't worry, you're not going to be going out of job. We'll all keep coming back to you because, as Mr. K Basu says, if you want to simplify it, why add a third one as well? But, it is going to be simplified, but not perhaps as much as many would have expected. However, the good news is that it does seem that for the common man, things that really matter like small cars, motorcycles, your paneer, your bread, your butter, your cheese, that is all likely to come down. If you're planning a vacation or a day out with your family, your movie tickets are going to get cheaper, so will your hotel rates. So those are huge positives ahead of the Navratri season coming up, ahead of the Diwali season which is coming up. And hopefully that's precisely what the doctor would have prescribed for our economy at this time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mr. PK Basu, as well as Drupad, for breaking it down and explaining it to all our viewers. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.